This is Josh Weathers, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
Real Life, Real Music Radio with your host, Kyle Hutton.
I'm going to tell you, just to kick things off, we've got a little picture behind us of the football squad. What was that,
26.
The 1926 football team. And there is a guy whose God-given printed name on that poster, and he's in the front row, is Sloppy Rogers. And Josh Weathers pointed that out to me, that there's a guy on that football team named Sloppy Rogers. And so
Makes me wonder how you got that name. You know
if we write a song, it's going to include Sloppy Rogers.
All right?
We got to make that happen.
But he's got to be like a failing bank robber.
I love it. Man, Josh.
You're so good at this, by the way.
Oh,
Porter Wagner who? Like, you got it down, bro.
You say Porter Wagner, and I start thinking about Dolly Parton. Sorry. The mayor got that one. He thought it was funny. Okay, so first thing, man, obviously to get these artists here, I mean, I know a lot of these guys, and I can send them a text, but sometimes that's not the appropriate professional route to go. So you go talk to their agent and find out when they're available and all that kind of stuff. And man, you've got a good agent because he asked me all the right questions.
Oh, good.
And we were able to figure out a time for you to get here. And I know with everything that you have going on in your family life, and everybody here is going to understand more about that before we leave. But between your family life and all the stuff that's going on in your career, it took us a little bit to figure out a date that would work for your schedule. And man, I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you for taking time off at the beginning of the week when you would normally be with your family to come hang out with us.
You're the man. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so I am going to, of course, lead you around as much as you will let me, asking you questions. But before we, really get into that, I wonder if you would just pick out a song that you want to start us off with tonight.
Well, I don't know. I was sitting over there thinking about it, and I never think about the first song I'm going to play.
Okay,
anywhere.
then I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
All right, then I'm just going to jump right in, and I'm going to go deep on the first question. All right? And you're going to be like, Kyle, if I play that song right now, then what else am I going to play? But you set yourself up for it, so I'm going to ask
We can't do it yet. Come on.
But no. I'm going to ask this. Of the songs that you've written, that Josh Weathers has written and or recorded, so that could mean an outside cut too. And you can't say, don't give me the answer of they're all my babies or whatever.
No,
okay?
that's
You don't
not
get
true.
to say that. It's like asking a parent, no,
this
pick
guy over
your
here
favorite.
asked me to play one I wrote when I was 19. I was like, really? I hate that song.
No, I want to ask you if people only got to hear one Josh Weathers song. Mm-hmm. Only one.
I know which one.
Which one and why?
I wrote this probably 6 months ago. And I've been on staff at my church writing like worship songs for the church because that's just something I felt like I was supposed to do. And the church asked me to do it. And I was like, I'd have done it for free, suckers. No, I'm just kidding. I love them. They're going to watch this. I love you all.
What's the name of the church?
It's actually called the Heights Church in Cleveland, Texas. And amazing people. It's been our church for a while now. And I asked him, actually, I was like, do you guys like write music for the church? And it was kind of not a thing. And then all of a sudden, it's a long story, but it's an awesome story. But executive pastor's like, I want to give you a job here. And I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I know I want you to do music. I want you to write music for the church. And so I was like, done. And one day we were in a meeting, and it was a new thing for me. I haven't had like a job in like all of my adult life most of the time. And that's not true. I worked in warehouses. I've done all kinds of dirty work, But So I had to get used to like going to meetings and things like that. But we were in a meeting with one of the pastors, and he was like, "Hey, we got this event coming up, and the whole theme of the event is called Legacy." And they just jokingly were like, "You should write a song called Legacy." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And they were joking, I wasn't planning on doing it. But then I walked down to the little studio that we have there, and I just sat down and I wrote this in maybe 10 minutes. And I don't know that it's like even complete, but it's been my favorite thing I've done in a long, long time. And I've got a bunch of new songs that I'm really excited about. But this one is probably the one. If people are going to know you from one song, right, it would be this song. Because I was thinking, okay, well, legacy, what does that mean? So it's something that you're like remembered by, right? It's the thing you leave behind. What do you want people to remember you by? And my thought was, and you can take this however you want to, but my thought was, if I want people to think when they were near me, they were near Jesus, right? They got loved that way. They felt that way. They felt peace around me. They didn't feel, that's what I thought. And so I'm like, that's what I want my legacy to be, Jesus. And so I wrote this song. All these years and all this time, every moment of my life, with every thought and breath I breathe, oh Lord, be my legacy. In trying times and days of joy, Lord, I'll strive to know you more and more. And whether shore or tossed at sea, oh Lord, be my legacy. And when I'm gone to the by and by, to that mansion in the sky, I hope they see you when they think of me. Oh Lord, be my legacy. I hope they see you when they think of me. Oh Lord, be my legacy. Jesus, be my legacy.
Yeah, man. Very nice.
All right, here's a song about whiskey. Okay. Just kidding.
Well, I think, that's an interesting thing. And you and I both, share a lot of similar thoughts in the realm of spirituality and like I've always been drawn to those writers, because I think sometimes, it can be a little bit taboo.
Sure.
Sometimes in faith circles to talk about what happened pre-redemption. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I don't know that you can understand the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
And the whole gift of redemption unless you understand what
you got saved from.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I think y'all know who one of Billy Graham's best friends was, right?
Probably Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, yeah. Right? I mean, you talk about a guy that could have had, been best friends with any worship leader, right? Would have been Billy Graham. But one of his best friends was Johnny Cash. And
there's
I think
something to be said, too, about like the faith in artistry was like a very common thing for a long, long time. And it's only been in like recent years that's now there's like this divide, between secular and sacred, when before an artist like Johnny Cash could put out Johnny Cash records, and then he would put out Johnny Cash singing gospel song records, and nobody thought twice about it. Willie's done it, Merle's done it, Johnny Cash did it. I mean, like everybody did it.
Yeah.
And now it's become like a
kind of a taboo.
Yeah, it's going to ruin your career if you do that. I'm like, you're a fool. It doesn't ruin anybody's career. Never has hurt anybody. Elvis's best-selling like album of all time is Hymns and Standards.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin's best-selling record of all time is her singing live in her dad's church, singing gospel songs. So it's like sometimes them record guys don't know what they're talking about.
Mr. Record Man. Okay, so I'm going to ask you about, and you already know that anything I ask you about and you're like, nah, I hadn't played that one in 15 years, then feel free to say it. But we don't edit the video podcast, so you'll be admitting you don't know your own songs. So just do that.
Me at all.
Yeah, do that at your own risk. I want to ask you about a song that you put out as a single in 2022 called "Shout, Shout, Shout."
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that one. I wonder if you played it.
Well, I didn't actually write that song.
I love that song.
But so I'm glad you like that other guy that wrote it, but that's cool. No, actually a great friend of mine, a guy named Austin Jinks, who I've written songs with. That's one of his tunes, and he put it out on a record 15 years ago. And
so what drew you to putting it on yours?
I heard it a long time ago. He actually wrote the song One also, which is one of probably my most popular live shows. He wrote that one too. And I just heard him sing it, and I think he's like top tier. He's one of the best singer, songwriters, artists. Sings his tail off. He's so good and writes amazing songs. And he's been one that I'm like, he's the only time I've only cut like 2 songs that I didn't write, and they were both his songs, just because he's like a bro, you know. But I don't even know what the song's about. When I hear it as I hear it as sort of like almost sort of like a patriotic, like America's not done kind of song. And so that's why I cut it, because I thought it was a great song. So all right, I gotta stand up though. I can't sing sitting down. It's so quiet in here, it makes me so uncomfortable.
Could somebody break a beer bottle, please?
Golly.
Just not on our heads.
Turn on the magic box, the newsman saying the world ain't right. It's all slipping away and we got no choice, but we got a voice. Pull up to the light and see a little sign saying it's all gonna end, so we better start praying. But I believe we ain't going quietly. Yeah, we're gonna shout, shout, shout. A big city, small town. Hey, we'll keep rocking when the lights go out. Angels come a knocking, heaven and a dance floor. Yeah, we're gonna shout, 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 and live it out loud. Well, you only get one life, one time to go around, so make a sound, make it count. Let your feet hit the ground, running hard. You go far. Up above the white clouds and past the blue skies, beyond the dark side of a weary night. At the top of your lungs, with rebels crying, we're gonna shout, shout, shout. A big city, small town. Hey, we'll keep rocking when the lights go out. Angels come a knocking, heaven and a dance floor. Yeah, we're gonna shout, 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 and live it out loud.
Yeah, man. I love that song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
That's the best song you've ever written. Oh, wait, you didn't write that one.
That's funny.
Is everybody doing okay out there? Y'all good? Manny, are we good back there? You got everything you need?
I take a little less vocal so I can hear it in the house a little more, maybe a little more guitar. But something's kind of clipping down there. I don't know if you heard it a little
something's
bit.
clipping.
I'm beating the
it's
tar out of
guitar.
it, so.
I think it's clipping. And then Kaysen, how are we doing? Video good? Everybody good? All right. It's never good to ask that question like, an hour and 15 minutes into the show. It's always better to ask that a little earlier. Okay, so I think the last time we got together, or maybe it was at Steamboat, I don't remember. I just remember digging into a record you released in 2019 called Wild Ones. Mm-hmm. It is such a great record. Tell us, I want to get more into kind of the beginning of you learning to sing and write songs. But specifically, let's sit on that album for just a minute, Wild Ones. Tell me what that moment in your career was like, and then maybe pick a song or two off that record to play for us.
Well, I had to make a record because I hadn't made one since 2010, and I had been writing quite a bit. And so I just picked, it was pretty simple. It was kind of a silly process because, I didn't have management and I didn't have a label or any of those things, like 100% independent. So you just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so I just picked 8 songs of like my favorite songs. There's 7 originals, or I guess there's 6 originals. And then I cut one, the Austin Jinx song. And then I did a cover of The Living Years, the old Mike and the Mechanics song. Yeah. And, because I wanted to record a song for my dad. My dad passed away when I was really young, when I was 19. And so I was driving around listening to XM80s. And that song came on, and I was like,
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to record this for you, Dad. Yeah. And but I didn't want to do like the Mike and the Mechanics version. I think we cut it with piano, but I don't ever bring a piano anywhere, so I usually have to play it on guitar. But
okay, but let's park there for just a second. So obviously this song connected with you when you heard it. Mm-hmm. So you were 19 when your dad passed. And was it sudden? Was it expected?
Yeah, very sudden.
Okay.
Actually, he so kind of the reason I still play music to this day is because he kind of gave me his blessing. It was Thanksgiving of my birthday's on Christmas Day. So it was a month before my birthday. And he sits me down and he's like, I had been playing music for about, 3 months, 4 months. But I had written a couple of songs like in those, and they were not great songs, but I had written these songs. And my dad took me to every family member he's like, you got to hear this. Josh wrote this. Let's go play him that song. And so I played this. And my dad was super into music. My dad loved like R&B and soul and funk music. Okay. And he also loved like James Taylor and Steve Miller Band, Bob Seger and all that. And, he sits me down and he's like, listen, we're going to get you a guitar for your birthday and give it to you as an early birthday present. So we're going to take you to the store, let you pick something out. You need something good. And he's like, because listen, music is your thing. And he's like, if you want to take some time off of school to go pursue music, I was a freshman at UTA. And he was like, you want to take some time off school, you want to go pursue music, then that's what I want you to do. And you need to do it now while you're young. And I'm like, all right, well, school's for fools. I'm out of this joint. I was like, I hate that place. Stay in school, kids. But yeah, he kind of gave me this blessing, and then on Christmas Eve of that year, so about a month later, he had a heart attack at work, and didn't, so he never got to, see it in the natural, see me do any of this. I don't know how to explain that any other way than the Lord knew I would never pursue it if he would not have told me it was okay. Because growing up, school was the most important thing. If I didn't make the grades, you're getting, you're getting whooping,
Yeah.
You don't make the grades, give me them keys. You ain't going chasing girls tonight, So yeah, going to school was the most important thing. So for him to tell me that I did not have to go to school so that I could pursue this was what? It was the world turned upside down. And so then I was just I'm never going to quit. So here we are.
Well, give us a taste of that song.
Oh, okay. I'll have to play a happy song here sooner or later. Okay. I guess Shout, Shout, Shout's not a sad song. Every generation blames the one before for all of their frustration. Come beating on your door. I know that I'm a prisoner to all my father held so dear. I know that I'm a hostage to all his hopes and fears. I just wish I could have told him in the living years. Crumpled bits of paper filled with imperfect thoughts and stealing conversation. Well, I'm afraid that's all we got. He says I just don't see it. You say it's perfect sense, and we don't find agreement in this present tense. We all talk a different language, talking in defense. So say it loud and say it clear. You can listen as well as you hear, and it's too late when we die to admit we don't see eye to eye. I wasn't there that morning when my father passed away. I didn't get to tell him all the things I had to say. I think I caught his spirit later that same year. I'm sure I heard his echo in my baby's newborn tears. I just wish I could have told him in the living years. So say it, say it, say it loud, and say it clear, oh, say clear. You can listen as well as you hear. You know that it's too late. It's too late when we die. It's too late when we die to admit we don't see eye to eye.
Yeah, man. You're way too young to have been listening to that song in high school, but I'm not. I like your version of that. Okay, so Wild Ones, that record, pick another one. Pick one of the ones that you wrote off of that one that's still in your set list that you play every night. Which, by the way, normally if you go hear Josh, it's not Josh solo, it's Josh with the full octane band. What are you traveling with these days?
Usually it's just bass drums and a guy who plays steel and electric. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're writing some honky-tonk songs these days. You gotta have a steel guitar. I'll play some of those too. Yeah, I still do Wild Ones about every night. So this is a song I wrote right kind of in the midst of making that record. I don't know, it's in my bathroom, there's great acoustics in your bathroom. I don't know what happens in there, but I'm just playing guitar and I think I'd probably been listening to a lot of Bryan Adams at the time or something like that.
All right.
And so I was like, I need to write a fist pumper, like, I want to run to you,
You've been on that 80s channel a lot.
Bro, I was born, come on, look at me. Lord, you can take me, just don't take me tonight. I wanna stay in the fight. So much darkness out here needs a light. I see it now. There's more than meets the eye. I wanna be one of the wild ones. Send me to the front line. You know I'm ready to run. Just let me be one of the wild ones. Wild ones. I won't compromise. Won't tell a sweet little deceitful little lie. Hey, I look 'em straight in the eyes. You don't believe my words, just take a look at my life. I wanna be one of the wild ones. Send me to the front line. You know I'm ready to run. Let me be one of the wild ones. Wild ones. Wild ones. Waited my whole life to make my stand. I won't back down now, but no fear of man. I'm gonna lift my voice and raise my hand. I wanna be one of the wild ones. Send me to the front line. You know I'm ready to run. Let me be one of the wild ones. Wild ones. Wild ones. Wild ones. I wanna run to you.
Let's try this quarter inch.
That's me, Tom. That and the medians. Popping in the medians.
Can you hear it in the front of the house? Well, that did.
Well, we'll see if that works. Daddy said I'd never be an engineer. Just fix that. All right. Okay, before I forget to do this, while we're in a little bit of a technical difficulty mode, we'll use this as an opportunity to get our audience involved.
Uh-oh.
I need you to do a liner to kick off the radio program.
Sure.
All right. So you say, this is Josh Weathers and this is Real Life, Real Music. And then I need you guys to go nuts for all the microphones around the room. All right? Can y'all do that? Yeah. We're about to see.
This is Josh Weathers, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
Perfect. That was great. That was much better than Josh's guitar. We're about to find out. Maybe it was the chord.
I don't know, man. That cursed cable. We just bought that, too.
I know. If it was the chord, I just sent my son, who is, have y'all met the fine young man that works the door at the Stella Sessions? That's my son. He is going into his senior year at A&M after this semester. Right? Am I getting that right, Carter? Senior year? Yep. Okay.
He's like, you've been paying for it, Dad. Don't
But he can't pick a guitar cable worth a damn.
Yeah. It's not your fault, bud.
So, Carter, we'll have some more talks about that. All right. Cool. You talked about new stuff. You talked about like that you've been writing a lot of honky-tonk stuff. I mean, look, I think one of the first times I saw you, you were playing with like a full horn section.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you took your dad's R&B stuff pretty serious.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, you have never shied away from your country influences. So I'm really excited about this kind of turn that things have taken for you. Why don't you just lay one of the countryest things that you've been writing on us?
All right. Countryest thing. I actually wrote this with Austin Jenks, the guy that I talked about a second ago.
All right.
So Austin's getting a really great plug on here. He actually wrote that Morgan Wallen song, American Nights. You ever heard that song?
All right. Yep.
Lee Bryce cut it too. That's good when you got both of them guys cutting your tune. So
That is good. I wouldn't know, but I think I heard that's really good.
Okay. I took this idea into a ride up in Nashville. This was back in March. And I was like, hey, man, I got this idea for a tune called It Ain't Gambling When It's Good. And they were like, he just kind of looked at me. He's like, all right. And I was like, and I'm thinking like, I want to do like a Dwight Yoakam, like shuffle kind of song. And he's like, okay. And we literally wrote it and like, it just happened real fast. Cause it's not like, you know, it's built for a honky tonk. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to think about it too much. I play the game for so long. I rolled the dice and got it wrong. Girl, and then you came along. And my gambling days were gone. Just an even money man who got dealt the winning hand. I guess I'll never understand why I'm as lucky as I am. But it ain't gambling when it's good. It's like betting on a sure thing. When I heard you say my name, girl, you made that jackpot ring. And girl, I ain't afraid to bust. Well, it ain't fair for a pair like us. Oh, I don't have to play cool when it feels just like it should. It ain't gambling when it's good. You gotta have like a fiddle turning. They say the odds are on the house, but I'm up even when I'm down. Like a pocket pair of kings and the aces up my sleeve every time you come around. And it ain't gambling when it's good. It's like betting on a sure thing. When I heard you say my name, it's gotta be this guitar. Oh, you made that jackpot ring. And girl, I ain't afraid to bust. Well, it ain't fair for a pair like us. Oh, I don't have to play cool when it feels just like it should. It ain't gambling when it's good. Oh, I don't have to play cool when it feels just like it should. It ain't gambling when it's good. I don't have to play cool, yeah, when it feels just like it should. It ain't gambling when it's good. There you go.
Man, you got a rhythm section in that guitar. Right there.
Sounds like is it picking up on the recording too?
It's just really dig into it.
Looks like we're gonna have to do this show twice, okay? So.
Are y'all okay with that?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it sounds better too. All right, we're gonna start over from the beginning.
There we go.
Let me see.
There we go. real life, real music.
Yeah, it's real life.
Sometimes we have some technical difficulties, and that's okay because life's full of them, right? Okay, let's talk about influences, because as a writer and a performer, you are extremely diverse. I mean, I've seen you with, full horn sections. I've seen you play rock and roll music, and I've seen you with your acoustic guitar. So, what were maybe some of those musical moments early on where you knew that music was special to you?
It was about as eclectic as what you just described. Because the first concert I ever went to was at the old Ranger ballpark. Not like the Ranger ballpark we've known the last 20 years, but the one before that, that was up on the hill, old Ranger Stadium, and it was George Strait. And then Nolan Ryan pitched that night. So that's the most Texas thing ever right there. It was just George Strait and Nolan Ryan. Because I was a big baseball, still am like a big Rangers fan. I know we're yeah. Oh, I was in Houston last night, so they were not Rangers fans there. Anyway, but so that was like my first experience with music. And then country music, my mom always had the radio on and was always on country. The first thing I remember listening to would have been the first George Strait album, and my gramps had it in his truck. The only piece of music I remember him having in his truck was the first Straight Country, and that's, to me, it's still my favorite album from top to bottom. Greatest record of all time to me, and then I was probably about 5 or 6. I saw the New Kids on the Block on TV, and I was like, yeah. I basically, and then I was like, I told my parents how much I love this. And so they took me to the mall, the 303 mall, which is over off of 360 in Arlington, and I mean, it's in the straight ghetto now. You can't go there no more. It may not even be there anymore. But they took me to the mall, and I bought the Hangin' Tough VHS cassette, like the VHS tape of Hangin' Tough, like the live concert where they just lip sync the entire time. I was 5, I didn't know. And I watched it every single day. I watched it every day. I wanted to be them. I wanted to dress like them. And my mom still put me in Wranglers, like starch Wranglers, and there was nothing I could do about it.
It's all starting to come together now.
I'm
starting to get a picture here.
I mean, I literally, I would wear hats. I would get my mom to buy me these hats. And I don't even know where she got them, but they look like little fedora hats, and I would cut the top out of them because that's what they did. They cut the top out of them. And one time my uncle, I swear to you, my uncle's like, he's just a good old boy. He said, well, where'd you get that hat? And I was like, I don't know, Mom bought it for me. He says, you need 2 of them. I can't say what he said after that on the radio. But I'll say is this. He's like, one of them to crap in, one of them to cover it up with. So I was a bit of an outcast in my own family there, I think. But then later on in life, country radio was always kind of like the mainline thing that always was apparent. I grew up in the 90s, so I was born in 83, so in 93, I'm 10 years old. I'm very aware of what's on the radio. I'm obsessed with, Brooks and Dunn and Alan Jackson and all those things. Still, George Strait was like king of the world. He's like the greatest, right? And then when I got to the college age, then I was super into Dave Matthews Band, and that's what made me want to play music. Mm-hmm. Play music was Dave Matthews Band, and then later on John Mayer and those guys. And then I went and saw Prince when I was 19. It changed my life. I was it's the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. Still to this day. And I've seen some pretty lights out concerts. Nothing comes close. Not even close to Prince. And I saw him in a room not much bigger than this room, and there was 200 people there. Yeah, it was a little theater in Dallas, and it was one of these notorious after party things.
Yeah.
And it was just life changing, bro.
Okay, before we go too far off that, though, I'm going to
play a Prince song. Oh,
yeah. Because I can see my buddy John Crawford from Texas A&M right over here. Is Kendra in the audience tonight? Kendra Fry. What? Now you just said something about George Strait being the king back in that time. Okay, how many people? 110, 914, 100. What?
Oh, yeah, we're right here, Kyle Field, my
110,905. The King, George Strait, Bryan College Station, Kyle Field. This month. Come on. The man is still the king.
Still
That's
the
for
king,
sure.
for
And that
sure.
is still one of the best albums of all time. I would have to agree with you.
Well, it's about all the songs are Dean Dillon songs, and that's why.
Yeah.
He's also the king to me.
He's the king. He's sat in that chair right there before and told me those stories.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's crazy.
I love like the story of the chair, and Marina Del Rey.
The story of Unwound.
Oh yeah,
You know, they're
stealing
drinking a
beer off the
12-pack
back of a
beer.
truck.
Yeah, exactly. It's colorful.
Give me a bottle of your very best, 'cause I got a problem. I'm gonna drink all my shit. I'm gonna spend the night getting down, 'cause that woman that I had wrapped around my finger just to come unwind. There we go. All right. Had to get that out of my system.
Yeah. Okay. So
I got
let's.
bad ADHD or something.
You and I are tracking, man. I'm all over the place. So, one thing I love, because there is a singer-songwriter thing where, and I'm going to make sure I don't step on my tongue here saying this, but there's a singer-songwriter thing where, in its purest form, there are circles where it might be frowned upon if you sang someone else's song that your name was not on. Mm-hmm. I come from the school that great songs are great songs.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's so many great songs that you can hear the original person that wrote it sing the song and go, that would never have been heard if this other artist didn't hear the song and then record it. Like, it never would have made it out into the world. And one of the things I love about you is, you have enough confidence just in yourself and what you're doing and what you want to communicate, that when you hear a good song, you're willing to put it out there. Now, one of the ways that you've been doing that lately that I just love, and I think the public has told you in some interesting ways that they love it too.
Yeah.
You've gone from like 0 TikTok followers in January to 150,000 now.
Yeah.
Right? Is that approximately?
Yeah, it's close to it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, and you've been doing that by covering some of the most iconic 90s country music. I mean, I'm going to date myself, but my wife and I were dancing at the Hall of Fame to a lot of the stuff that you are now singing and putting out on TikTok.
Yeah.
In fact, when you were 10 years old, I was getting married. You could have been the ring bearer at my at my wedding, which is kind of both creepy and interesting at the same time. So you have been, what is one of the songs that has done the best for you on TikTok that you've covered it? Why did you cover it? And then play it for us.
Let me borrow your capo. I don't know where mine went. I had one here. I don't put much thought into it. I'll be honest. I just kind of pick one every day, and I really don't think about it that much. Because that's I think that's sort of the name of the game with social media. Is like, you just got to do something every day. So if you do it every day, like, you'll find the people, or the people will find you. And thankfully it didn't take that long. I only did a couple, and then I did like a Merle Haggard song, and that one, I did Silver Wings. That one was the first one that got traction. And then I did this song I'm about to play, and I have no idea why. It's the one that seems to have caught the most. It's been the most viewed on TikTok. It's been almost the most viewed on Instagram. And it's, every morning I watch you walk into the office in your business suit and matching shoes, with your hair put up neatly. You tug at your glasses, and you sit down just 3 desks down, and I watch you in a fluorescent glare, and my mind drifts away somewhere, and I see you. Anybody else want to sing? Nobody? In a different line, with your hair falling down, and love in your eyes. In my mind, you're a beautiful sight. I see you in a different light, and just the way I saw you last night. Well, there's girls at the office, the guys always notice when they walk by, but you're not the type. They don't know what I know. Some things just don't show in tailored tweets, and that's fine with me. Let them all think what they want to. As for me, when I look at you, I see you in a different light, with your hair falling down and love in your eyes. In my mind, you're a beautiful sight. I see you in a different light, just the way I saw you last night. We can do this all day.
I love it. I feel an after party coming on.
Oh yeah, dude, let's go.
It's Monday and we survived a hurricane. 90s country after party.
Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly.
I'm actually
what it's
as big
be.
of a fan of like 80s country too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You want one of those too?
Wow. We're gonna get there. We're gonna
Okay.
get. You know. Okay. So I do want to say this, as I'm thinking, about the whole singing other people's songs, advocating other people's music, whether they're a songwriter or an artist, because it connects with you, right?
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
right? I know you're just setting up the mic and doing your thing, but for some reason, there's something coming out of you that connects with other people.
There's sometimes when I'll do one, I'll be like, that one's got the sauce on it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know which ones they are, but like there's sometimes, I didn't think that about that one though. I just thought, but
it worked.
But it worked.
It worked. One of the things that I appreciate, really probably most about you, Josh, because I've been doing this real life, real music thing now for 17 years. And as you can imagine, like when I first started doing it, every show was like, starstruck, you know what I mean? As a songwriter with the people that I get to sit with. And, you do something for long enough and the game just changes, right?
Sure.
I mean, the game changes.
Yeah.
The motivation's still the same. It's about music and the connection and that sort of thing. But different things start to stand out to you, right? Yeah. And I think for me, the thing that stands out most about you, and it doesn't take away from the fact that you are an incredible vocalist. I mean, I've met a few vocalists in the last 15 years that I can count on one hand, and two of the names would be Sean McConnell and Josh Weathers. I love your vocals. Your vocals are amazing. Your songwriting is top notch, and your live shows are amazing. But what stands out to me about you is the person that you are outside of music and what you do, because not only do you advocate for people in the music world, but you advocate for people just simply because, I'm guessing, I'm putting words in your mouth, that you see something going on in the world and there's a burden on you that won't let you go.
Yeah.
And so you have to do something about it. And you and your wife started a nonprofit specifically to help kids in India that are living in poverty to just simply have a chance And I'm not talking about a chance to sit at the Stella Hotel and drink, and drink old fashions. By the way, the one I had at dinner was great tonight. But that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about basic, Maslow's hierarchy of needs at the bottom of the triangle. Mm-hmm. How can these kids have food, water, education? Man, and again, short version, I'm looking at this clock here.
Yeah.
Short version, how did you get involved in that? And if we wanted to learn more about what you and your wife do and get involved somehow, how would we do that?
Well, we took a trip there and to India in the process of adopting our first little girl, and it radically changed our life.
And how many kids have you adopted now?
4.
Okay.
4, yeah. We have 6 total, so pray for me. You can pray for me later. So 4 of those kids are adopted. My 3 girls are from India, and so the girls, in the process of adopting our first, we took a trip there, radically changed our life, came home. My wife was like, we should start our own thing, and I agreed that we should do that someday. That's what I said upstairs. I was like, we should do that someday. And then within like a week, she had applied for a 501c3 and was like, so really I get to stand up here in front of all the people and take the credit. But the truth is like, I'm a knucklehead with a microphone who likes to sing songs and entertain people. Thankfully, that gift has led us to be able to raise money to help these kids. So on the other side of the world, there's a group of people in India called the Dalits, D-A-L-I-T. You can Google it. And they really are not treated as sort of members of society. And so those kids that are born into that, and you're born into it, there's no real way of getting out of it outside of an education. So we decided to build a school. That school is now in its 3rd year, and we have 280 students, and it's closer to 300 now, and then kids on waiting lists, K through 7th grade. And we've built a sponsorship program into that, so you can find kids on the website, lovelikeyoumeanit.us, that need somebody over here to pay for them to go to school, because we have teachers to pay and things like that. We have 12 full-time teachers and 3 bus drivers and buses, and and all that was really funded through using this platform of music to go out and share with people what's happening and what we're doing about it. And I will tell you, we started in the process of building the school. We started other outreach things there too. We do all kinds of stuff over in India. We have like a ministry. We go to like leper colonies, because leprosy is still prevalent in India. But those people are put into these colonies where they're outcasts from society. Leper colonies. We have like a trash dump ministry. There's 300 families that live in trash dumps, and a bunch of them know Jesus now, so that's great. And but in the process, we started a sponsorship program for kids in our community. We have an apartment over there, and all these kids that live around our apartment in the city, they were not at school during the school year. And I asked Ernest, our partner. We have a partner. His name is Ernest Mohanty. He's a very, very smart guy. Very smart guy. And he went to Harvard, so he is really smart. But he's full-blown Indian, and he's crazy. He's crazy. He's awesome, but he's crazy. And I said, Ernest, these kids aren't going to school. Can we go talk to their parents? What if we pay for them to go to school? Will they go to school? Yeah, we can do that. And so I said, okay. So we get Ernest, and we go around to these houses and ask these folks, if we pay for your kid to go to the good school here in town, would you let them go? Yeah, of course. And these people live on the street, mind you, like in tents, literal tents, tarp tents on the street. And so we go around and talk to their kids. 8 years later, we still have all 35 of those kids in our program. 5 of them are in their first year of college. One of them has just got a job as a graphic design artist. 3 of the boys actually run the videography portion of the church. They run all the video. We planted a church there too, so they run all the video stuff for the church and run the live streams. They do all the stuff. They started a videography business with the cameras from the church, and they shoot weddings in India, and they're counting money over there. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So the sponsorship thing really does work. So if you go to the website and you help us with, you really are helping these children have a destiny that they would not have otherwise. That's really it. So.
Yeah. So like y'all get it, right? I mean, like everything you hear up here that's top notch, there's this whole layer underneath it. And I've met so many of you in this audience, right? And you excel at what you do, and then you're also great humans that give back to the community, you know? So here's one of our brothers right here, right? That's doing great things in the world. So thank you. And mainly thank your wife for filing that 501c3 and putting up with your ass. So.
Yeah, it's 100%. We're about to start a whole nother. We just bought 6 acres in El Salvador, and we're going to do the same thing in El Salvador. So now I own the side of a mountain, which is pretty rad. It's pretty rad. It's a coffee plantation, actually. So
I was going to say we would totally lose the whole audience if we told them what you were going to grow in El Salvador.
No way, dude. The president over there, he ain't no joke. He will
ain't gonna play
cut
with
off
that.
your hands. He's
Okay.
crazy.
All right, folks. Man, I know you can feel me when I say this because not every night is like tonight, you know, with an audience that's listening like this. And not every place that we get to play is the liquor selection so upscale in the bar that I'm staring at. But at the Stella Hotel in Herschel's, it is. So once again, I want to thank the Stella Hotel, Destination Bryan, and Lake Walk, which is this whole community here. Which, by the way, I saw that Capital Farm Credit Union got their sign up on that building. Congratulations. I mean, these folks are attracting businesses. They're attracting commerce. They're building structures like this and everything else you see around here. And I'll tell you what, this is a far cry from where I used to play when I was writing songs at A&M. So can we give a round of applause for my presenting co-sponsors on the event? And in a moment of seriousness, you know, man, I try really hard to not log on to the news or social media first thing when I get up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Because it just starts my day off bad. Yeah. And I don't care, because here's how I do the news. Usually I'll go Fox, CNN, Reuters, Drudge Report. Like I kind of want to see what everybody has to say.
Yeah.
But when I start my day like that, like it can be scary, it can be depressing. It can point out a whole lot of negative stuff to me about what's going on in our world, and unfortunately in our country right now. And man, when I first met the folks over at Blue Forge Alliance, and we were talking about this thing that we wanted to do here in the community, obviously to me it was about music and how do we bring this cultural experience here, because I think it has something to do with connecting people, that music has something to do with connecting people. And as I started to learn more about what they do and what their mission is, and getting to meet some of the people from the top down that are the ones doing that every day, I learned about a whole nother depth of a mission that's going on right here in this community, and that is to revitalize American manufacturing so that for things like submarine parts, that we are able to produce those here in America, and that we have what we need when we need it, in my opinion, as a layperson, to be able to ensure our ability to sit around in a place like this on a Monday night and relax and hang out and talk about stuff that matters to us, you know? And so, kind of like I love the music that you make, but the backstory makes me love it even more. Blue Forge, I love the fact that you guys stepped up to help us make this happen, and learning more about the quote unquote widget that you make every day and how you guys spend your time, talent, resources, every day trying to make a difference in our community and in our country. I appreciate that about you guys, and thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying the show tonight, and thanks for making nights like tonight happen for us right here in Bryan, Texas. Yeah. So, yeah, Blue Forge Alliance. We could not do this without them. All right, so we need at least 3 more songs for a complete show, and so I'm just going to jump right to it.
Okay.
And one of the first kind of, we'll call it one of the first mutterings that I heard of your name back in the day was that now I've already been corrected once tonight about the original author of this song, okay? But here's what was the I guess the clickbait for this was White Boy sings Whitney Houston's version of I Will Always Love You. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Yes, Dolly Parton wrote the song, Spencer Clements. But, dude, was that like, did you plan this whole thing out?
No. I mean, you've heard how I run my social media campaign, so that's about. The truth is okay. So I played that song the first time at Coach Joe's place in Louisville, Hat Tricks in Louisville, Texas. Coach Joe Avazano was a good friend, and he was such a music fan. He was, special teams coach for the Cowboys, and such a great dude. And I kind of half-heartedly did it that night, and he pulls me aside. He's like, "You do that. You learn that song, and you do it right. You're gonna play it every night for the rest of your life, just like that." And I wish he would have told me like the lottery numbers or something like that. But no, the truth is he was totally right. And I did it one night for my mom on her birthday at the Kessler Theater in Dallas. And this guy, Jeff Lyles, took a video of it. And it got about 30,000 views maybe. And this is the truth. It got about 30,000 views initially, which we all thought was crazy. And then it sort of like trickled off. And then I don't remember exactly how long it was later that it just sort of like exploded. And it was because somebody from the Chive found the video, puts it on the front page of the Chive, and then the Huffington Post takes it and puts it on the front page of the Huffington Post. And so this is in the early days of YouTube. So then from there it got like 1.5 million views in like a week, right? And so, which is like, especially at the time, was very substantial, and ultimately changed my life, because then I really, the night Whitney Houston died, true story, I'm pulling into this place on a Wednesday night in Fort Worth, Texas, called the Mule Pub, and it was half the size of this room and a little lower grade clientele. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And but amazing place. I got to cut my teeth in places like that, and just learning how to entertain people in places like that. So I'm so grateful for places like the Mule Pub. But I'm sitting over in the corner, and actually I was pulling in, and I hear on the radio, Whitney Houston found dead in Beverly Hills Hotel, and I literally put my forehead on the steering wheel, and I was like, I'm gonna play this song for the rest of my life. And I was like, he was right. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to play it like 10 times tonight. And I walk in there, no joke, and I played it the first time as a tribute to Whitney Houston, and then I said, I will play it again, but every time you want me to play it, it's going to be $100. And the gig only paid me like $150. I think I made like $1,500 that night, but I literally just, no joke, I just sat there. It was like they'd drop it in there, and I'd just keep it going. I just keep going. Another one. But seriously, I was like, something about that performance and that thing caught on online, and it's become a thing that I've done now forever.
Well, you have to play it every night.
Tonight is a night that ends in Y, so here we go. No, I'm really grateful. My mom actually went and saw The Bodyguard in '92, and so thank God for Mama. I've gotten invited crazy places because of this song. I mean, I played for presidents. I've played for the ambassador of Norway. He's like, we want you to do a 4th of July party. Can we fly you and your band to Norway and you stay in the ambassador's mansion? I was like, yeah. I stayed in the George Washington suite at the ambassador's mansion just because of this song, you know? And yeah, anyway, crazy things.
Well, hey, I'll tell you, tonight you're staying in the, well, what do we call it now? It's not the Jimbo Fisher suite anymore. Sorry, that's what they used to call it. Spencer, do we have a new name yet?
Spencer, you know that was some low-hanging fruit. You just said, I'm just going to say it right here. That means I get to stay in it whenever I come to town? That's what I'm talking about. There you go. If I should stay, I would only be in your way. So I go, but I know I'll think of you every step of the way. And I will always love you. I will always love you. Bittersweet memories, that is all I'm taking with me. So goodbye, and please don't cry. We both know I'm not what you need, baby. And I will always love you. We'll always love you. And I hope that life treats you kind. And I hope that you'd have all you dreamed of. And I wish you joy and happiness. But above all this, I wish you love. And we'll always love you. I will always love you. Baby, I will always love you.
right. Am I muted here, Manny? Only a couple of times have we done like any kind of after party.
Yeah.
But a couple of times when Corey was here, and I don't remember who else, we went and just sat like right there in the middle and played a few songs. You got a couple of 80s or 90s songs. We'll
Yeah,
swap. We'll just hang
absolutely.
out after the show. And,
Yep.
Okay. Because, sound guys got to load out and go home, and video crew and all that. But
I'm here all night, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
But any of you professionals, and you know what I'm talking about, that want to stay and listen to a couple more songs, maybe
Sure.
we'll hang out and see what happens. Gosh, about 7 years ago, my friend that I started writing songs with here, Roger Krager, and I got together as soon as the roads opened up between Tomball and Magnolia, and we had 3 or 4 big trees that went down in the backyard that we had to cut up, but we were a lot better off than most of our neighbors had fared in Harvey. That I think, was it a Cat 5 when it came ashore? I can't remember. 4? Okay. I know I had never seen the wind blow like that before, but Roger and I got together and we wrote this song, and I want to sing it tonight just because I know this is kind of on a lot of people's minds. And the funny thing is, there's always this spike in listens to this song anytime there's a storm, and so I want to sing this one tonight. And if you go listen to the studio version of it, we wrote this on a Tuesday, and that Friday we were in Willie Nelson and Ray Benson's studio in Austin recording this, and there were about 25 of the recognizable names in Texas Red Dirt music that came in and sang on this song, along with a gospel choir that, in my opinion, outsang everybody else on the record. So here's a song that Roger and I wrote on a day not too unlike today. She was softly praying as the storm was bearing down. Now everything's in ruins and scattered on the ground. She cries, I don't even know how I'll make it through today. But deep down she has something the rain can't wash away. When there's faith in the water, love in these streets, and worry on the faces of the people I meet. But there's a resurrection coming for the world to see. There's faith in the water and love in these streets. And he said, I can't walk on water, but I can drive my boat and reach out to a stranger just trying to stay afloat. And I drove down from Fort Worth when I saw it on the news. There's some things you gotta think about, and some things you just do. When there's faith in the water and love in these streets, and hope on the faces of the people I meet. But there's a resurrection coming for the world to see. And there's faith in the water and love in these streets. Yeah, we've been battered by the wind and baptized angels down here in the sweat and in the blood. And there's faith in the water and love in these streets. A hallelujah chorus singing over me. And there's a resurrection coming, and I believe that there's faith in the water and love in these streets. Faith in the water and love in these streets. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Goes out to all of our friends and neighbors that are dealing with storm-related stuff tonight. All right, you have the arduous task of picking a song to end the night with tonight. But before you do it, I want to, on behalf of everybody here, everybody watching the video podcast, everybody listening to the radio broadcast, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Man. I'll play the newest song that I've written. How about that? So I just wrote this one, and a couple of guys, a guy named Dan Hudson who writes a bunch of songs up in Nashville, and a buddy of mine from Fort Worth named Joey Green. And a lot of times you walk into a room like that, and the first thing you do is like people just start throwing out titles. And Dan said, "How about this one? I'll get around to getting over you." And I was playing these chords because I want to, Dean Dillon's like my hero. That, and I love chords, like songs like Steve Wariner songs from the 80s that have like these really cool chord structures. So I tried to put as many chords in this song as I could with it. So it's like my favorite one these days. Well, I'm not one to put things off. I get them done, then I move on. Usually, but this time's different for me. Oh, I could try to pretend that I'm over you, lie to myself, dance around the truth, but it's killing me. Now I'm somewhere between holding on, letting go. I'll get there. I'm just moving slow, and time is a healer. Well, it sure is taking its time. But I'm a believer that one day you'll be off of my mind. Oh, but that day ain't today, and it won't be tomorrow. May take a lifetime or two. Oh, but I'll get around to getting over you. Getting over you. Well, our love was timeless and it won't end. So this broken heart don't want to mend, but I needed to. Oh, just forget about you. Now I'm holding on and I can't let go. Will I get there? Lord only knows. And time is a healer, but it sure is taking its time. When I'm a believer that one day you'll be off of my mind. Oh, but that day ain't today, won't be tomorrow, may take a lifetime or two. Oh, but I'll get around to getting over you. Now the last thing I do, baby, I'll get around to getting over you. Getting over you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Josh Weathers. All right, now we're serious. In about 5 minutes, we're going to be sitting right here. And I know there's some other musicians in the house tonight, and I happen to have an extra guitar. And so anybody that wants to join us for a little 80s, 90s, we're going to be right here.